Thank you. I'll start off my talk with a fact which may surprise some of you, and by some of you I mean most of you. And it's the fact that as much as I love Formula One, I've never driven a Formula One car before. I know, shocker. Yet still, this life that we're living, it feels like a race. A race which you all didn't exactly sign up for. You know, you've just been put into a car and you've been told to drive as fast as possible, for as long as possible. And that your entire future is dependent on shaving off those few milliseconds to get an edge on the competition. And I get it. You know, school can feel like that. It's a repetitive, a regimental cycle. All it feels like is assignment, test, practice, school, repeat. Assignment, test, practice, school, repeat. And if you pause, even for a moment, you'll fall so incredibly behind that catching up isn't an option anymore. And I know that race. Because, trust me, I was running it too, for quite a long period of my life. I do believe that my worth as a student, it came from motion. And that productivity at all times meant progress at all times. And rest, well, rest wasn't in my dictionary. Rest was only an excuse for the people who couldn't handle the stress, who couldn't handle the burden on their shoulders. And that was until I burned out. Quite hard, that is. A very warm morning to one and all present here. I'm Agamjot Singh, and today I wish to speak on a phenomenon which I'm so incredibly sure each and every single person sitting in this auditorium right now has experienced at least once in their life. And that is burnout. Now, during this period of life, it was something quite unexpected which helped me. It wasn't a book, it wasn't a mentor, it wasn't any teacher or mentor, therapist, it wasn't that. It was the sport of Formula One. Yes, that Formula One, the one with fast cars, cutting-edge aerodynamics, the wisest strategists. I've been an avid fan for many years, much thanks to my dad. But underneath all the adrenaline, underneath all the drama, there lies a principle. A principle so brilliant that anyone watching the sport for the first time will question the very basis of it. I'll explain the principle. In a Grand Prix, which is a race in Formula One, 20 of the wisest drivers, they do something so counterintuitive in a race where their only objective is to win, to be on that top step of that podium. They stop, and that too on purpose. You see cars swarming in at 300 kilometers per hour, and they pull into the pit stop. Crew swarms in, tires off, tires on, check for damage, and out they go. 20 to 30 seconds lost, just like that. And I questioned it. I asked my dad, you know, why would they do this? Why would they willingly lose time? And my dad explained to me. He said, Beta, they're not doing this to lose the race. Why would they? Rather, they're doing this to win the race. I didn't understand it at that point. I didn't understand the depth of that sentence. I just scoffed it off. I said, yeah, sure. But as and when I watched more races, as I understood the sport, I asked myself, why don't we treat our lives the same way? Okay, let's step back from Formula One. I'll recapitulate on a personal experience. It was the middle of 10th grade, you know, 10th grade, quite a rough grade. I'm pretty sure all of you would agree. You have board exams, club activities, house activities, everything. And I remember particularly this one week, a week where I had 3 tests lined up, 2 journal submissions, I had a presentation on circles, which is a maths chapter. And I remember sitting in front of my laptop, making the presentation. I was choosing fonts, save the PPT, close it off. My mind was buzzing, but it was blank at the same time. My eyes were blinking, and they were staring at the bottom right corner of the screen, the clock. The time, 1:13 a.m. A minute after that, 1:14 a.m. The minute after that, 1:15 a.m. 10 minutes after that, 1:25 a.m. And I'm not telling you how time works. Hopefully, you all know how time works. What I mean to say is that for the next 20 minutes on end, that's all I did. I stared. I was empty. I had nothing inside. And at that moment, I realized that I had pushed myself so hard that I didn't find joy in the things which I love to do. I love learning, I love creating, I love researching. But at that point, I hated it. I despised every moment of it. And then I realized I wasn't in control of my race anymore. I was simply trying not to crash. You know, in school, we often glorify the grind. We adhere to the lies sold to us by hustle culture. We say things like, oh, I only slept 3 hours this week. Oh, I haven't taken a break in this week. But what we don't talk about is the cost. The anxiety, the exhaustion, the depression, the emptiness that engulfs your mind after you see that A+ on your mark sheet. And the sad truth is that we've glamorized hustle. We've made exhaustion feel like an achievement, like everyone here should yearn to be exhausted. They should be tired, because that's the only way you're productive. That's the only way you're making progress. You know, in Formula One, skipping a pit stop is so incredibly dangerous, because no matter if you're Lewis Hamilton, no matter if you're Isaac Hajar, a rookie driver, no matter how well you save your tires, they will wear out. Your engine will overheat. You will lose grip. May that be literally, or may that be mentally. And that is what burnout is. You know, it slowly creeps into your mind. It doesn't show up to your door one day, knocks at it, hi, I'm burnout, can I come in please? It doesn't work like that. It slowly engulfs your mind. And after that point, you can't escape it. But the truth is, the sad reality is that burnout, it can't be considered as a personal failure. Rather, it should be considered as the cost. The cost of a system which tells us to keep going, even when we know we have to stop. And I recognize that. I understood. My teachers understood, my friends, my family, they all noticed. And I knew I had to do something about it. So I did. I made my own pit stops. You know, not big dramatic life overhauls. I didn't go from studying 7 hours a day to meditating 7 hours a day. That's unnecessary. Rather, I made small, mindful changes. A 10-minute walk without your phone, a day off without guilt, and most importantly, letting your body be. If you're tired, be tired. If you're exhausted, be exhausted. Don't try to combat it with fake positivity, with caffeine, with energy drinks. Just let it be. Now, some of you might be sitting in the audience, you might be wondering, what is this guy on about? You know, why is he speaking so much? And I don't even watch Formula One, so how does this resonate to me? Well, first of all, if you aren't into Formula One, I'd suggest you get into it. It's an absolutely incredible sport. And secondly, from one student to another, I can assure you that you are in a race. You are the Formula One driver of your own life. May that be for medals, for marks, for approval, for a future, in any perspective. And most of us, we don't even know where the finish line is. We don't know when we can stop and say, it's finally done. We don't. We just keep pushing. We keep pacing. We keep speeding up. And we don't know when to stop. We forget why we started in the first place. So when life feels like it's speeding up, when everything around you says, go faster, do more, do this, do that, don't give up, I want you to remember one golden rule. And it's a rule followed by everyone in Formula One. The fastest drivers, the best strategists, the best engineers. And it's best said in a quote by the 7-time Formula One world champion, Michael Schumacher. I quote, "To finish first, you have to first finish." So go out there and take that break. Take a pit stop, rebuild, refuel, and come back even better. Thank you, and have a blessed day ahead.